Keto says cut carbs. Carnivore says cut everything but meat. And plant-based says eat more plants. But what actually works for women's health specifically and long term, especially when it comes to cutting stubborn belly fat, losing weight, hormonal balance, and just overall well-being and longevity? I'm here today to help you cut through the confusion and weed through and navigate the diet wars run rampant across social media and pretty much all of the internet. I'll be sharing with you the science, of course, and what each diet can do for you and what actually works long term. But I'm also going to be sharing it from the real life standpoint, what I have experienced having gone through hormonal imbalances, extreme weight gain, and being extremely underweight at one point. Hi guys, I'm Erin at EatMoveRest, and I have now been plant-based for over a decade, and I have successfully navigated 3 pregnancies on a plant-based diet. I have successfully breastfed and raised 3 beautiful babies on this diet and lifestyle as well. I am in the absolute best shape of my life, and I have never once had to worry about cutting carbs, cutting calories, or eliminating sweet and wonderful fruit from my diet. I'm gonna tell you why there's so much confusion, what each diet can possibly do for you, and then we're gonna look at what works long-term for your health and your weight, your hormones, all the things that's actually enjoyable and sustainable. I'll share little tidbits from my story, and I'll also link below a really powerful video that I shared a couple of years ago, diving even deeper into the details of my personal health and body transformation story. Stay tuned for the end because I have a very helpful next step for you guys. So if you're tired of fad diets and you want an abundant and joyful way of eating, moving, and living, give this video a thumbs up. Hit that subscribe button and join the EatMoveRest fam. Leave me some love in the comments below. I would love to hear a piece of your journey and story. Let's get to know one another and let's dive right into the dirty details. I dove headfirst into a whole foods plant-based diet and lifestyle, but I did not go cold turkey. It took me about a year to really fully let go of all animal products, and then another year to really hit my stride. And I never looked back because so many of my health issues resolved so much more quickly than I ever thought that they could. I didn't ever see any reason to veer off because of the fact that I was eating an abundance of calories. I went from a 1,500 calorie restrictive diet on animal products to 3,000 calories on whole foods plant-based. Not all calories are created equal, and for someone who likes to eat and not feel deprived and restricted is such a good feeling. I've finally experienced food freedom. Let's look at these diets and why they might seem appealing at a glance, but why long-term they're actually harming your health more than they're helping. So like I said, I've never done keto, I've never done carnivore, but if you're feeling tempted to try keto or carnivore, let's just take a quick glance at what they do to your body. With keto, it says it forces your body into ketosis, which is essentially burning fat for fuel. Short-term results are gonna be water loss and appetite suppression. And again, shiny object, it sounds nice, but it can cause missing or irregular periods, increasing in cortisol, which is your stress hormone, worsens thyroid and adrenal issues, and many women end up bloated, tired, and heavier later on. And I have heard this time and time again from coaching clients, friends in my Instagram DMs, and people in our membership who have decided to leave only to come back begging for re-entry because they feel awful. Similar to keto, carnivore is all meat, no plants. That equals no fiber. Doesn't that sound a little extreme to you? Especially when you think about the fact that the gut microbiome thrives on fiber. And if you're starving out your gut microbiome, that's gonna cause slow, poor, and sluggish digestion. That's exactly what I experienced before going plant-based, and it wreaked havoc on my mood and mental health on a day-to-day basis. It was the worst. On top of that, carnivore diet lacks phytonutrients and antioxidants that you can find in abundance in plants. Many people say that this has fixed or resolved their autoimmune issues, but again, this is in the short term. This is not something you can do for the rest of your life. It can also raise your LDL cholesterol, which Coming from a family who has a history of heart disease on my mom's and dad's sides, that is very unappealing to me. Carnivore. Personally, there's nothing about this that appeals to me. As a child, my mom and dad literally used to force feed me meat because I refused to eat it. I hated cow's milk unless it was ice cold. Tangent, anyway. The thing I really want to say is if you zoom out from a bird's eye view, keto doesn't make sense to me because you are completely eliminating two macronutrient groups. You're eliminating carbs and protein and hitting the fat super heavy. Same thing when I look at carnivore. It doesn't make sense to me to have to completely eliminate all fiber from your diet. So when we look at a plant-based diet, it is rich in abundant, colorful foods and high in fiber, not to mention no plant foods contain cholesterol like their animal counterparts. This right here is worth noting. Fiber feeds your gut bacteria, which leads to estrogen and cortisol regulation. Carbs equal glucose, which actually fuels the thyroid, your metabolism, and your brain. So for me, going from a standard American diet to a clean meat eating, clean animal product eating diet, the brain fog just got worse and worse. And it wasn't until I went plant-based that I had increased energy and I felt just elevated, for lack of a better term. I felt so clear, so in my purpose, and again, going back to food freedom. Carbs get a bad rap because a lot of times when we hear carbohydrates, we're associating them with refined sugars and white bread and white pasta and all the foods that spike our blood sugar and do nothing for our gut health. But what we're talking about here is whole food carbohydrates like oats, fruit, potatoes, sweet potatoes, legumes. These are whole and intact. They have fiber, vitamins, minerals, antioxidants, and more than just carbs. They also contain protein and fat in varying levels as well. This whole and balanced way of eating supports your cycles and your hormones, your cortisol. So here's my take on 5 things you can do now that you've been equipped with the facts. Number 1, eat for hormonal balance. Include complex carbohydrates at every meal, like the ones I just mentioned. Sweet potatoes, fruit, oats, beans, and legumes. Ditch extreme restriction because your hormones need the fuel, and be sure to prioritize an abundance and variety of different types of plant fiber. Some doctors suggest 30+ types of fiber each week. Number 2, try not to get too fixated on one single macronutrient and try not to be fearful of certain macronutrients. There is a place for carbohydrates, proteins, and fats. They all serve a purpose in fueling our bodies properly. Whole plant food sources of fat will help with hormone production and regulation. So we love to eat an abundance of chia and flax for healthy omega-3 fatty acids, as well as walnuts and almonds. Avocados are a big staple in our household, and the occasional coconut or coconut cream in our curries, soups, and stews. Protein is essential for blood sugar balance, lean mass, and metabolism. Some of my favorite go-to protein sources without necessarily using powders, even though you could include a clean protein powder, I would say top picks are any type of organic soy product, organic tofu, tempeh. I love to whip up both of those. Organic soy milk, beans, legumes, lentils being one of our other favorites, and even dark green leafies contain a surprising amount of protein. Number 3, move smart. Something that further helped my hormonal balance is prioritizing strength training over cardio and over exercising. Strength training is fantastic for bone density health as well as hormonal health. When I was overtraining, I felt so dysregulated, and it causes spikes in cortisol, which is actually going to work against getting rid of that stubborn belly fat. Number 4, rest and nervous system care. Here at EatMoveRest, we talk a lot about rest being sometimes the most undervalued, underappreciated, and underutilized, when in fact, if you're eating clean and you are lifting heavy weights, but you're not getting sleep, you're not going to repair or recover, and your hormones are going to get thrown out of whack. Sleep is where growth happens. This is when we grow that lean muscle mass, burn fat. It helps keep cortisol levels stable and all the good things. Even outside of getting 8 hours of sleep, it's important to take moments throughout your day where you're doing some deep breathing, even if it's just for 1 minute increments here and there. Sleep is actually fat loss magic. And on top of that, if you're sleep deprived, it's going to cause you to have more cravings and to fall victim to temptations much more easily. It's going to cause an increase in leptin and ghrelin, which are our hunger hormones. And I can personally vouch on those sleep deprived days. Those are the days when I tend to self-sabotage the most and crave those refined sugars, which, by the way, side note, right now we are doing a 14-day sugar detox within the EatMoveRest club, and it is so amazing. People are really loving the results and feeling so free without the sugar. Number 5, track your cycle so you can support your cycle. That looks like training in conjunction with the various phases of your cycle, and on top of that, don't restrict your calories, especially when you're in the luteal phase, which can throw things out of whack and leave you feeling deprived and even more moody and anxious. Quick shout out to Complement, our longtime favorite in plant-powered nutrition and our partner on today's video. So if you guys have not already checked out the Complement Essential, this is the perfect way to make sure that you're complementing your robust plant-powered diet with the exact nutrition to make sure you're staying dialed in. So many multis on the market are just overkill because a plant-based diet is so rich in vitamins and minerals. So we love that Complement cuts the crud and just gives you what you need so your kidneys aren't working on overtime, pretty much peeing out expensive neon urine. Complement also recently launched For Her, which is specific to women's health. Taking just 2 capsules daily alongside your essential will give you folate, iron, copper, boron, and a couple of other critical nutrients that are going to help with cognitive function, hormonal balance, energy, and lots of other good stuff. So if you guys want to check out Complement, they've also got a great creatine, daily greens powder, gut health powder. Go check it out in the description and use our discount code to save 15%. Like I said in the beginning, I have experienced my fair share of hormonal irregularities and imbalances with missed periods, going on hormonal birth control, which led to a whole nother cascade of health symptoms. Coming off of that and diving deep into a whole food plant-based diet and lifestyle has helped me tremendously. Having gone from the standard American diet to a clean animal product diet to a whole food plant-based diet and lifestyle, this is where I truly experienced that food freedom that I've been talking about. I was so sick and tired of being in this place where I was restricting and depriving and feeling brain fogged and low energy and lethargic and super anxious because I just couldn't figure out why I was doing things the right way but getting the wrong results. And it wasn't until I went plant-based that I really discovered how fun it is to enjoy all of these colorful fruits and carbohydrates that I had been told were no-nos in the past. On top of that, digestion being regular, energy being through the roof, sleeping like a rock at night, having clear skin, if I didn't already mention that as a struggle in my past, and just feeling long and lean and good in my body. There's no question in my mind that I could sustain this way of eating, living, and being for the rest of my life. And that feels so empowering to me. The fact that I'm not anxiously awaiting my results at the end of a 30 or 60 or 90-day mark, but knowing that I really don't have to think super hard about what I'm eating and if it's gonna work or not feels awesome to me. I know that one of the biggest concerns that you're probably thinking about right now is, yeah, but how do I make sure I get enough protein? You're younger than me. As you get older, you need more protein. I've tried plant-based, but I just feel like I need to incorporate some animal products. How do I get enough protein on plants? Because I get what you're saying, but I need it to actually make sense. I'm right there with you. And in my next video, I cannot wait to share with you guys how I easily get 100 grams of plant protein without powders. Even though I do like to use a plant protein powder, I'm gonna show you exactly how you can get 100 grams plus of plant protein very easily and effortlessly. So if you wanna see that video, drop me some love in the comments below. And like I said, join the EatMoveRest fam, hit that subscribe button, click the bell to turn on your notifications so you'll get alerted when that next video drops. And be sure to follow me on Instagram. I reply to literally every single DM. So if you have personal questions that you'd rather take over there in private, please follow me at Erin Stanzik and the hubs at DB Stanzik, especially if you want to find out more about plant protein and how to be a plant-powered athlete. The hubby is a pretty hot cyclist over there. Wink, wink, he's listening and watching. If you want more tools, be sure to check the description below because we've got a free 7-day health and body transformation video guide where I dive deep in the 7 most burning questions and concerns surrounding a plant-based diet. So if you want the facts straight up in your inbox every single day for 7 days, be sure to check it out below. All right, you guys, signing off. Eat, move, rest, your best. Bye.